Hello, welcome back to the craft room. Please excuse the hoodie, but if I take it off, I'm going to start coughing, and I'm right at the tail end of a cold, so we'll go with it and hope I don't cough. Anyway, today I thought I'd show you how I make my squish blanket. Now I'm going to hold this up. I won't hold the whole thing up because there's not enough room. This is my squish blanket. Now, I make these when I want something to do in front of the television that doesn't require much brain power, and I want to make a comfort blanket rather than a show blanket, if you get what I mean. So none of the stitches on here are difficult, and it uses, I don't know if you're like me, but you pick up yarns like chenille yarns because they feel nice and they're soft and they're pretty, and then you end up with a whole heap of them that you don't know what to do with. And you can't do anything too complicated, because what happens with chenille yarns is if you do a complicated stitch, it has varying tension within the stitch, and then when you go to wash them, you get worming happening. And what worming is the bits that are at a different tension actually work their ways out and they look like little worms on the surface. It usually happens after you wash it the first time, which is very depressing. But anyway, so this blanket here was made with 3 different colorways of the velvet print yarn that you can get from Big W. So we've got the pink colorway, the blue colorway, and then there's this greeny yellow one. Doesn't really show up as yellow, but it's greeny and yellow. That's like a beachy colorway. So I just used multiple balls of those 3 colorways. And for this blanket, which is, it's that wide here, but it's nearly double that lengthwise, I used 5 balls of each one, and they're 100-gram balls. But I'm not doing that today. I'm just using this as an example of what we're going to do. I call this my squish blanket because it's squishy, it's soft, it's lovely to work on. It has a bit of weight to it. It could be a light weighted blanket because chenille, when it worked up densely, is quite heavy. So you could give this to a child as like a comfort blanket in thunderstorms, stuff like that. And it doesn't require much brain power to make it work. Sometimes you just want something you can just do and not think about. So what I'm going to use today is, sorry about the coughing, I managed to get, let me just get it, 2 of these. Now, these came out in Spotlight, a couple of years ago now, and they were quite expensive. I'm not going to say the price, but I couldn't even look at them at the price they came out with. But I got lucky a couple of months later, and these went out for $5 each. And there is enough chenille yarn in these to make a whole blanket. Mind you, the size of that blanket, if you look at the bit of paper from the outside, is 84 by 84 centimeters square. So it's more of a lap blanket. But I have 2 of these. Ta-da! And I also have a whole heap of these yarns here, which is tuple. I'm probably saying that wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments. I don't know how to say it properly. But I have 5 balls of the black sparkly, and I have 6 balls of the grey sparkly. Now these are quite a bit thinner than the other ones, but what I was going to do is I was going to hold these 2 together as my 3rd colour and use the other 2 as the other 2 colours, because to make this blanket you need 3 separate yarns, 3 colours of all the same thickness. And what I'm going to do is work them together like that. Now the hook you need for the big blankets is a 9, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to give you specific counts to do, because it's not that kind of blanket. It's do it as wide as you want, do it as long as you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it to match whatever I have the least of with my 3 colours. Now I have 2 big balls of the blanket yarn, and I have a lot of these other yarns, so I can't tell you how big it is until the end. But what I'm going to work on is approximately the width that the big blanket yarn tells me that I can make out of these balls of yarn. So it said 84 centimeters. Now, get the right leg of my quilt to pull out. 84 centimeters is that wide. So that's a decent wide. It's not quite a meter. So because I've got 3 colors and that measurement was for 1, I'm just going to bump it up to a meter wide. And that way, if I want to, I can put a bit of a border on. See, with this blanket here, hopefully you can see it. I just did a very plain border in the pink and then in the blue, because they're what I had the most left. I actually ran out of the greeny yellow. So the pink and the blue were my border. And you can add as many of these borders as you want to bring it up to the width that you'd like. So that being said, that's all the stuff we need. I'm going to go over to the other camera and tell you how to get started, and we will go from there. Let me just get on my chair. So these are the yarns I have here. There's the one from the pink ball. Can't fit them all under the camera very well, but what I might do is I pulled the middles out of all of these. I'm going to drop them on the floor. There it goes, big bundy on the floor. And drop that one on the floor. Right, that's given us a bit more room. And I'll put those 2 up there. Now, first thing you want to do is move the camera further so you're not yelling, is decide what order you'd like your colours to go in. So, and also, before I forget, this blanket is good because it's not heaps of ends for you to try and weave in. Let me get this out of the way. Got too much stuff up here. All right, so these are our 3 colours. Now, I don't want to start with the white on the outside. So it has to be one of these 2. I'm going to start with this one so that my very first edge is the thicker yarn, because I'm not totally sure how this is going to work out holding the 2 together. I think it'll work out, but I'm not totally sure. When I made these before, I've had all the same kind of yarns, but we will go. So all you want to do is to chain the width of the blanket that you want to make, and you want to loosely chain. Don't pull it tight. So like this, I'm holding in my fingertips and I'm just pulling through gently, because what you don't want is very tight chains with chenille yarn, because you won't be able to find these tight chains. You won't be able to find a way in. So we're just doing a simple chain as loosely as possible. You could even go up a hook size if you would like to. So just do this the width that you want the blanket to be, and I will pause and come back once this is a meter wide, because that's how big I am doing it. We will go. All right, so I am back and I have done it just over a meter. Doesn't matter, it's all right. So the first row I'm going to do in this pink, because I can see what I'm doing and all that. So we go 1, 2, that's our 3rd one. We go like this, and we are making a double crochet. So it's that one, and then we pull through, and then we go 1 thing. Now what I'm going to do, I get a stitch marker just to begin with, big fat stitch marker, and I'm going to mark the top of the chain just like that, and that is our first stitch. Now what we do now, we've done a chain, we're going to go back into the same hole, do a partial DC, then we're going to skip a chain and go into the next one. Now I'm only going through 1 loop, I'm not going through 2. Hang on, did we forget to do? Yes, we did. got to do the first loop. So pick up the first loop, skip that one, then go like that, and like that. So this stitch is a variation on a V stitch. You can see it. There's the V right there. So we've done a chain, and we now do a part double crochet, skip a stitch, loop around, and then go into the next stitch. Pull it through and then pull through both. And then we do another chain. So now we have 2 V stitches, one there and one there, and we've got the first leg of the next one. Now when I'm teaching people, I find the best way to learn a stitch is to make up a little rhyme. So we are putting our pants on. So one leg, pull it up to the knee. Next leg, pull it up to the knee. Up over the bum and put the button through. You make whatever way to remember the stitch as you can, and well, I'll do that again. So it's into the same one. So that's our first leg. And then our second leg, miss that loop, go to the next loop. Pull it through, over the bum, put the button on. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4. And you just work. Now, I'm going to do that again because I'm not sure whether you saw that because I didn't realise I'd moved up. So we go over, first leg, over, make sure you skip the one in the middle, second leg, up, over the bum, and do the button. And that's what we're going to do across, and I'll come back when I'm going to turn and show you how to add the next colour in. I'm not all the way through, but I thought I'd come in because I came across this. There was a knot in the yarn. Now, they tie the knots with very little hanging out. I don't trust that, so I retie my knots quite a bit further back so that there is plenty of tail so that you can make the knot quite tight. And then what I do is I flatten it out and I work over it with the threads going in different directions. That way I know that I have caught the knot in place. So we were done the first leg, now we do the second leg. Pick that up, make sure that's caught. Pull that through. It's a little bit hard to get the knot through, but you can do it. And pull through the lot. Yeah, I don't trust the short knots. I make ones with longer tails. So we're just going there and there. You'll find those kind of knots with a lot of chenille yarns. They just cut them to make well, they don't cut them, they break. So you just got to make sure that you trust the knot. See, that's where my knot is there. You can't really see it. And before I go back to pausing the video and catching up, I just wanted to show you this on the back. So this is 800 grams and it's got 400 meters. This is the big balls. So if you want to convert that to, if you've got 100-gram balls, that's how much I'm using of each of the 2 big colors. And then I'm just making up the rest with my thinner yarns. So you need three lots of yarn. And this is what I'm using. You use what you have, just as long as your yarns are the same thickness and the same amount of yarns, same amount of meterage. Okay, so I will pause it again. I am actually only got about a third of my chain to go, but I'll be back when I'm ready to turn the corner. All right, I'm back. I'm at the end. There's our last stitch there and the second last stitch there. And we've done all the first row. Sorry about that. So like I said, I didn't count how many chains I did. I did it the width I wanted. So what you do at the end is we do the first half of as if we were going to do another stitch. And then we'll do this in the last one. Yes, I know I haven't skipped it. It doesn't matter. That's why I didn't count, because it doesn't matter. This yarn is so thick that you can't tell. Now, so I've got the original loop on there. I've got the partially made first double crochet, the partially made second double crochet. Now, what I'm going to do, my next colour is going to be the ones I hold together, because I want to put this in the middle, because I'm not convinced yet that it's going to be thick enough. I think it will be, but I'm not convinced. So I'm going to put it in the middle. Now, as you can see, this one is shedding like mad. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie a knot to tie them together. All right. And I'm now going to tie my slip knot to start this row. And we're going to hook that onto my hook, tighten it up, leave the pink hanging. See, it's just hanging there, not doing anything with it. And pull that through. Now, I'm going to chain up 2, but I'm going to catch the pink yarn. So that's 1 and 2, and then turn the whole lot over. Pink yarn is hanging out the back here, minding his own business. So I've got 2 chains there. Now we're going to start now. Let's make sure we get in the right place. What we want to do, this is a V-stitch here. I know it could be hard to see. That's our V-stitch here. That's our next one. So we want to finish this partial one off. Remember how we started the first one? Make sure it doesn't twist up too badly. So I'm going to start that in because I was talking in the middle of that and you might not have seen it. So we'll do a partial one. We've got our 2 chains here. So we're going into the V. We're not going into the stitches. We're going in the V and do a full double crochet. And then we'll chain 1. And then we are doing the same thing, but this time we're placing our stitches into the V's of the row below. It's, well, we're making V's, but we're not. So there's that. It is quite a bit thinner than the other ones, but I think it'll be a good contrast. And the way these stitches are, it'll show up well. Let me just get that out the way. So my black yarn has quite a bit of spin in it, whereas the grey one doesn't. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. So we'll do a chain, and then we'll go into where we were, and then around and into the next spot. And then we hear the train in the distance. All right, so if we look at this way, this is quite a bit fluffy. This is not. That's fine. It's fine. It's going to be a contrast. So another chain and then the next stitch. And so we work our way all the way along, trying not to have twists in our yarn. Straighten everything out multiple times as we go. And pull that one through. All right. So you got to make sure that you're not doing any of these stitches too tight. And I will carry on all the way along, and I'll be back when I get to the other end. All right, I'm back again. So I've got to the end. No thanks to this ball of yarn. Ugh. Didn't realise that this wasn't in the middle, and this has been bouncing around the table driving me nuts. I usually start from the centres so it doesn't move. Anyway, so we got to the end. This is what it looks like. Now these yarns held together have worked out significantly thinner than the puffy yarn, but I'm going to stick with it because I actually like the contrast. I did think they were going to be closer, but they aren't bunching up, so I'm going to stick with it. So we've done the whole lot. Our pink yarn is still attached to the other end, and now we've got back to where the marker was. So we've done our chain between them. we're going to do the first half of the next stitch, and then we're going to do into here. Now I'm going to try, yes I have, I've gone under 2 on the one that's marked, not just the one, and then we will go like this. So we've finished that stitch, but I've tried to bring it more towards the outside edge just so it's more upright. And I did a mistake. We need to pull through with our other colour. So now these 2 have been finished with. Put them up in the corner. And we will add in our white. Once again, make a slip knot. I always do a knot. I know you can start without doing a knot, but I don't quite trust it, so tighten that up. And then we'll just do the finishing of that stitch and then chain 2, 1 and 2. And that is now all of our colours attached. We'll turn this over, just bring the blacks down like that. This all goes the other way. And the blacks are now on the wrong side. Put them on that side, that's better. I hate having them not from the inside because you're not totally sure where things are coming out. Okay, so here we have the black coming off. We've got the white attached. We once again made the same mistake we did last time. Got to remember to do this. Undo those 2. And you need to do these 2 chains carrying up your other colour. So you go under, pick up to do your chain, and then the next chain. So when you come back, this is not so far away to where you want to keep going. So put that to the back and then turn it around. All right, so now we're ready to start the white. Now these yarns, this one and the pink at the other end, we never cut them. We carry them up the side in these chains. So you don't have heaps of ends to try and deal with later. And then we just start again doing what we were doing before. So that's our chain 2 and the first double crochet. Gather them together at the top, get the yarn out the way, chain 1, and off we go again. So that is all we do. What I might do, just so I can show you what it looks like, I will come back when I have done, say, let's see, I'll have another lot done up here when I come back. So another row of each colour, just so you can see what it looks like. And we'll go from there. So I will pause this now. I will do that and I'll be back in a minute. Well, longer than a minute, but it'll look like a minute. All right, I'm back and I've done the 2 rows of each colour. Weird thing, the pink and the white are the same brand of yarn, but the white is a lot harder to run smoothly than the pink. The pink is a lot easier. So each one of these yarns is different to work with. But anyway, we will persevere. So at the moment, with 2 rows of each colour done, my blanket is 17 centimetres tall, or 7 inches, nearly 7 inches tall, right? And it is 10:49, and I started that at, I started the whole video at 10, and I think I did those 3 rows in less than 10 minutes. So it is a very quick blanket to make. And as you can see, there's the pink end, there's the black end, and then there's the white end at the other end. And so when I get to each row, the next colour is waiting for me, so I don't have to cut and join anything. So now the pink's going to go across and the black is waiting, and then the black will go across and the white is waiting. So that way you never have to weave any ends in. It is very quick to do. Just make sure when you get to the end, you bring up the yarn with you when you do your chain 2 and leave it hanging ready for when you come back again. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to go away and I'm going to do as much as I can. Like I said, it is just before it's 10 minutes to 11 o'clock, right? So I will come back at let's say 5 o'clock, and I will show you how much of this I've got done. I've got a feeling I'll be pretty nearly finished. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going until one of my colors has nearly run out. I'm going to guess it'll be the white because the white feels thicker. So it means I will probably have less meterage of the white in the ball than I will of the pink. The pink is a bit softer. That way it'll compress more and there'll be more meterage for the weight, because I'm pretty sure the balls are done on the weight, not the meters. So we will go from there. So I will come back. So at the moment it's 17 centimeters or 7 inches long. It is just over a meter wide. I am aiming for a couch blanket. If you're making this yourself, make it as wide as you need. All you got to make sure is you don't do your very first chain row too tight. Like I said, even go up a hook size. 9 is the size recommended for the white and the pink. Because I'm using these two black and grey one together, I'm not going by the hook size recommended for them. So hopefully, as it is, it's making like a lacier effect, which I don't mind at all. It will probably decrease the stiffness. It'll drape better for me. If you want to use 3 of all the exact same thickness, that's up to you, but make sure it doesn't get too dense. We want this to flow. We want it to be a blanket, not a board. So I'm going to stop the video here, and then the next time you see me, it'll be at 5 o'clock today, and I'll show you how much I got done. And I will be back then. Hi, I'm back again. It's not 5 o'clock that day. It's the next day. Same jumper, but different underneath. But anyway, I had visitors, so I couldn't record right then. Anyway, let me show you the blanket. So, we are quite large. And I put a marker. Can't really see. There's my marker where I finished yesterday. So I did all this yesterday, and I have measured it. It is a 1.45 meters to where I've stopped. Now, what I've done is I want to finish on the same color I started with. So I've got up to the last dark row, and then I'm going to show you how I finish it off. Now, before I forget, please, if you like these videos that I'm making, or if you have any ideas for other ones that you'd like to see, please like and subscribe, and then write in the comments anything you'd like a better video about with the crochet or some of the other art stuff I do. It really helps the channel, and it gives me some idea of where to go to with stuff you might want to see. So, before I carry on, do you want to see something cool? This is the ball. The other one's the same. It's like you can put my head in it. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause and I'm going to set up on the other camera, and I will be back in a minute. All right, I'm back. I'm now going to put you over to the close camera. All right. So this here is the last dark row. This is the last one I want to do. So I've got to the end. I've transferred and done the 2 chain ups for this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut that, and then because I've got 2, it makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to use my crochet hook and pull one of them through here without getting everything. Let's try that again. We just want one of those threads. We'll go with the black one. All right, so I've got one thread on one side of here and one on the other, and I'm just going to tie a knot. This is just to keep this in place. This is not weaving the ends in. All right, so now that's all joined up, and this will turn over, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to work over these because this is the same color. So I will weave them in and out as I go along with this white thread, and then I'll get to the other end. Actually, I'll do the first stitch, then you can see. Refresh our memory on the stitches, even though it was only 5 seconds ago for you guys. So it's actually getting quite difficult to move the blanket around now, so I'd say it's time to stop. So we've got our chain 2. So we pick up 1, go into the V from the previous row. Make sure your tails are on the top of the previous row. And do the full DC for there. Then chain 1. Don't put your elbow on your thread. And now we do a proper abbreviated V stitch. That's a partial DC, and then another partial DC, and then pull through both of them, and then another one. And I've just worked over my thread. There's the rest of it there. Let's do another one just to double sure. So first partial DC, so first leg. Make sure this does not want to cooperate today. Make sure your ends are on top of the stitches below, and then another partial DC, and then pull through the lot, and then a chain to finish. I do have the beginnings of a blister on my thumb, but other than that, it's all good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish this white row. I'll be at the other end, and I'll show you how to lock off a single strand rather than a double strand. Double strand was a bit easier because we could tie it around it. Single strand is going to be different, so I'll be back in just a tick. Well, a bit longer than a tick, but it'll be a tick to you. All right, back again. So I've just done the white row, and I've done the switch over color, and I've done the 2 chain ups, and I've caught the white in the first chain up. So what I'm going to do now is make that a little bit longer so it's not going to pull out, and then we're going to pick up the white. I'm going to cut it back here. We're going to get it out the way so it's not going to cause trouble. And then what we want to do on the top here, which you're not going to be able to see once you start going, is I'm going to pull the white end through a little bit and make a knot. And then pull that tight, but I'm going to pull it down tight down on top of the stitches, and I might even do a second one. So this is on the top. Pull it through and then pull the tail through. Right, and then pull that tight. So now we're going to work over that, laying it on the top. So this row of stitching is going to cover up the end and we don't have to deal with it later. The 2 knots help so that it can run through better, and you're not going to worry about it coming undone. So what I'll do now, same as I did before, don't put my elbow on the yarn I haven't used yet. It's kind of awkward because the blanket's quite big and I have to have it on my lap to be able to show you what I'm doing. So we're just going to do our normal stitch. And this is the very last row of the blanket body part. We've got to do an edge yet. So I'm just making sure I keep that tail on the top where I can see it, and doing the same stitch again, because the way chenille is, and this is a chenille, the end will get caught as I go around. Sorry about the throat clearing. I'm still getting over my cold. So there we go, and one more. And then the end is now hidden underneath the next row of stitches. So the only end we have now is the pink one. So what I'm going to do, I will get to the end of this very last row, and then I'll show you how to start the border. All right, so that is the end of the last row. Woohoo, we are done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go all the way around with single crochet. Now it's going to be easy on the top and the bottom edge because we've got the rest of the chain to work with. So but the side is a little bit different. So first thing I'm going to do is going to put a chain, and then I'm going to mark that chain so we know where it is and we know where to stop. So these are double crochets. Now you should be able to get 2 stitches out of each double crochet. If you can't, it's not the end of the world. Now I usually try to split the stitch at least once, and I can't tell whether you could see that. I'll try it on the next one. Now here is a good spot. You see how I'm splitting this stitch here, but I don't have to do it on the next one. Next one I'll just go in the hole. So alternate between splitting a stitch, that one's split, and then just going in the gap that the stitch actually makes. And you just work your way down and try to put 2 in each one. And it will really depend on your tension whether you can get 2 in or only 1. But what you want is for it not to bubble up. You see how that bit I just did, it's fairly flat. It's not rippling, not really. It's pretty good. You don't want it too tight, so keep your tension, keep an eye on your tension. So, and what you want to do is when you get to the corner, you want to try to either put, actually I think for the first one we'll just put a single crochet, a chain, and another single crochet. We'll do the expanding on the next row. So what I'll do, I'll get to the end of this and I'll show you how to do a corner. All right, back again. Now I'm almost at the corner, but I just came to the white yarn that I started that row with. Now, because it's a different color, I can't weave it in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it backwards a bit, and I'm just going to go past it, and I'll come in later and weave that into the white area, because if I go over it, you will see it. I only go over it when you can't see it. So I'm just getting to the corner, and then one there. Now we're right at the corner. Now I try to do it with 2 strands, if I can do it. Yes, okay. So it's chain, single crochet, chain, and then single crochet into the same hole, and that has turned the corner for us. And now we should be able to go into the bottom of the stitches and then into the gap. Remember how when we started we had the V-stitch was in 1 stitch and then we skipped 1. So that's how we're going to go across. And I will see you when I get to the end of this row back where we started, and I'll show you what to do on the next one. I'm back a little bit early because I got to the other end of the bottom row and I thought I'd show you the corner, which I've just done. Actually, I might pull it out and do it again so you can see it. All right, so that's the beginning place where we started. That's my last single crochet. So I'm just laying that there and I'm doing 1, chain 1, and another one. Sorry. And then we carry on like before. Back again, stop coughing. So that's what we just did before I started coughing. Single crochet, chain, single crochet. Now this is the end that we started with. So we're going to try and work over that while we're still on that color. Doing the same, one splitting the side of the stitch below and one in around the stitch. Now we don't have enough, so I'm just going to put that to the side and I'll come back later. Now we've got the skinnier black one. So that's the one there, and then we're going to try and split the stitch here. This is on a chain up, so it's not as easy to split. So that's all we have of the black. So I'll hang that down there and I'll come back later and hide that into the same color stitches. And then we just keep going, remembering for each part we go between the threads of the stitch. So we're splitting the stitch for 1 single crochet and then 1 just around the leg of the stitch. And we will keep going. Nearly there. All right, so we're on the top edge now. I've just done the 2 single crochets in the chain. Now for the top edge, it's fairly easy. We just go in every stitch and then we go around the chain. So that was the join of the 2 half finished DCs. Then we go around the chain. The top of the 2 half finished DCs and then the chain. And that's all you do for the top edge. Let's see if we can. My ball of yarn has collapsed, so it's making it awkward again. Okay, so you can see there's one of the cluster DCs, the 2 that we made. So that's the chain between. And then this is the top of the stitch. That's the V to go between. And then here, you see that one there? It's just above that is the top of the 2 DCs together. And then that's all you do for the top edge. I'll be back in just a tick to join it off and then do the next row. All right, we're back again. This is where we started, if you remember. So I'm going to go into there, make sure that we're in the stitch, not in the hole. And then I'm going to go into the first one and then take the stitch marker out. And then just go under the V, or the top 2 stitches, and do a slip stitch. So we'll have, that's our chain there, right there. Now, what I usually do with these blankets, I do a couple of borders just to make the corners stand out better, to flatten all the edges, put a bit of weight on them so they fold better. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm not going to cut off the pink. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a slip knot with the white. And then I'm going to pull that through. And that's our first stitch of the next row. So we're going to get that out the way. Get that out the way. And then stitch back into the corner. So that's 1 stitch. And then, hopefully you can see this. I'll move it a little bit. We want to go into the back loop of the stitches we just did. And then we're just going to do single crochet into the back loop of all the stitches all the way around. And you can see that little bit there, that's the front loop. Yes, I've missed the hidden stitch there. That's because I took a stitch back. So I've added that stitch in. So we can miss the hidden stitch. And then you just work your way around into the back loop. It will be slightly easier now that you've got the first row on there. And in the corner stitches, in that chain 1, we're going to put 3 single crochets just to bring out the corner a bit more. And what this does is it flattens out the edge for you. You see it's fairly flat and gives you that nice little ridge there from the front loops. So what I'm going to do, I'll come back when I get to the corner and show you that, and we'll go from there. All right, back again. Now, do you remember this end from before? I left it hanging because it wasn't the same color as the yarn it was near. So now I'm just going to bring it up and out the top so that I can crochet over it into the back loop. So I've done that one, so now it's this one. So you just lay it along the stitch and just crochet over it. That way we don't have to weave any ends in because we're already doing it. That's what's good about chenilles, because of the way it's made, it'll sink down and not come out. That's the theory anyway. Some of them play out. All right, so we're now at the corner. What I might do is I might do the very last one, like so. And now we do the 3 in the corner. So that's 1. This is into the around the chain. 2. and 3 in the same spot. You see that? That's our 3. That's made our corner. Pull a bit more string, or fluff, whatever I want to call it. And now, you can't see the hidden one, and there is enough bulk here in the corner. It doesn't matter if we miss it. And we just carry on doing the back loop of our first row. Let's do one more and show you. Okay. So it seems a little bit offset, but it is all right. That's turned the corner nicely. It's not rippling, it's laying nice and flat. And I will be back when I get to the other end of this row. I'll do the 3 other corners and we will go from there on what to do next. All right, so we're back at the first corner. And I get this pink out so we can see it. So that's our tail that we began with. And that's the last stitch there. So we'll go 1 and 2. And then we will join with a slip stitch. And then what we'll also do is chain up 1 with the pink. Now, we want to get rid of the white. So we'll cut that off with a fairly decent tail. Get that out the way. Pull the pink up so it's not going to come undone. And then we'll get our hook and we'll try to bring, that's not going to work, it's too thick. So we'll go the other way. We'll bring this one back. All right. It's not going to do what I want it to do. So bring that one back to there. This one can go this way and we will work over them. Not happy with that. There we go. Let's bring that one this way a bit. And then a bit more. Because what I want to do, I don't trust things to just stay. So we are going to tie a knot there. I probably don't need to, but it'll make me feel better, so I'm going to do it. Like that. Okay, now we'll work over them. So now my pink is not in the middle. It's above the last one, which that doesn't really matter. Hi, I'm back again. Sorry about that. I had an unexpected visitor. So when we left, I can't actually remember. I haven't looked at the video yet, but I've decided to do as my last row the pink, and I'm doing a double crochet in the back loop still. I'm going to do all the border in the back loop because it allows it to fix the tension if I need to. So all I did was pull the loop that we had here to the back, and then I just chained up 2 and I started on the first stitch. So I'm going to do the corner properly and then join it to the first stitch. So that's all I'm doing for the last row. I don't think I'll put the black on the edge because it's so much thinner. I think it'll just get caught on everything. I'm going to stop with this pink row. I don't like putting white on the edge because that's the edge that gets the dirtiest and all that. So a darker color will look better for longer. So the next time you see me, it'll be all finished and I will show you what it looks like. Back a bit early because I remembered that I forgot. Yeah, that's right. That I didn't tell you how I'm going to do the corner. So what I've done is I've done double crochets in the back loop up to the first of the 3 in the corner. So then the second one, I'm going to go, I don't want to make the corner too big. So I think I'll just do 1 chain and then a second one. I'll just see what that looks like. See if that's enough to get us around the corner. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then we'll do the next one in the back loop. Let's have a look. Is that enough of a corner? I think we need 2 chains. On my other one, I didn't do double crochets in the corner, so this is why I'm just checking to see whether it will sit flat. and then that in the third stitch. Let's have a look. That's better. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on the corner. So we had the 3 from the previous row. We go up to the first one. No, do the first one, then in the next stitch we'll do 1 double crochet, 2 chains, and then another double crochet. So that 3 is all in the one corner. Yes, it'll make a hole, but you can't really help that. You need to have enough in the corner to actually make it a corner. And it's going to be pretty close to finish the row with what I've got left. This is all I've got left of the pink. Hopefully it'll be enough. We'll soon find out. Guess what? I didn't have enough to do the whole row, and it wasn't only by a little bit, it was nearly half a side. So I'm now not going to be doing it in double crochet. I'm going to be doing it in maybe half double crochet. Knew there was a reason why I didn't do it on the last one. So it will be the same deal again. This is what happens when you change your pattern halfway through. And this yarn, all this yarn is from my stash, so I can't get any more. They don't make it anymore. So we'll just, actually, also forgot to say, I'm working over one side of the tail as well, so that it's locked in. Just laying along the top and working over it. So we're now going to do half double crochets along the last row. I gotta have enough to finish. Possibly going too fast, aren't I? All right, let's go down here and go slow. Pick up into the stitch, make sure that's laying flat, pull up into the stitch, pull up. I'll be doing the same in the corners as I was with the double crochet. So I don't think I need to show you that. I just need to let you know that this is why it's different, because I ran out. So it's going to look like that. I did want it to be taller, but I don't have enough yarn for it to be taller. So it's going to be this. And this time I will see you when it's all finished, and we will do a recap, and that'll be the end. Hello, I'm back, and we're finished. And doing the last row as a half double crochet. I actually had leftovers, not much, but some, so we made it. So first of all, I will show you what it looks like. Now, there's a lot of it, so hang on. This is and I'll show you the corner, the corner. So the blanket itself is 1.60 meters by 1.10 meters. So it's a big blanket. And I also have quite a bit of the white left. You can still see through it. And tons of the black left. So there was a lot more in the black than there was in the white or the pink. We've only run so low on the pink because I've done 2 border rows on it. But I think I'm quite happy with how it turned out. And I hope the tutorial was helpful for you. It is a great blanket. I mean, it's, what is it, 4:20 now. So this has only taken me 2 days to make, and that's only working in daylight hours. So I'm pretty happy with that. So it's a very quick blanket to make if you need a last minute present, or you're cold on the couch to watch horror movies. You know, it's big enough. You could cuddle up in this. And I hope you like the video. So please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.